Afternoon, everybody. Uh, Today just wanted to discuss basically to learn to accept people for who they are right in this moment and give a little backstory. So, I'm one of those people that I always see the best in people and I always want the best for people. And so I put myself out there a lot, give parts of myself, right? And what I found out is not all relationships are going to be equitable, meaning not all of them are going to be equal. Some you will sow and put all kinds of time and energy into and get nothing back from that person that you're putting your time and energy into. Some can be like reciprocating where they'll go back and forth. We'll have your seasons of you helping the other person, another season of people helping you. And then, of course, you have ones that are more kind of like your mentor, leadership, coaching relationships that where the person is just you're just there to receive and the person is just there kind of sewing into you. And so as I've been growing, of course, I'm a 41-year-old man now. I noticed that like with girlfriends, friends, family members, I'd always see people for who I know they can become, who I'd want them to be, but not who they are in this moment. And what that did is it left me in a position of constant um, vulnerability, but then also because it wasn't equitable, it wasn't an equal platform of giving and taking. I always end up frustrated, and then eventually I'd end up going off on that person and kind of just totally burn the bridge. And bridges. I know some bridges are have to be burned, but it's not ideal, especially if it's a situation where it's not like hostile. You kind of want to leave the bridge open at times, or at least put like a place marker there that know that bridge is there. Because at least in my line of work in the military, what I've found out is I've burnt a lot of bridges, and I end up coming across these burnt bridges consistently. Like people that I thought I would never see again, I see them again. And guess what? To make things worse, they end up being in a position of power over me. And it's kind of like they're able to, you know, take out their frustration or, vengeance or get back at me. Um, and it's all because I burnt that bridge when I didn't really have to. Like, I'm one of those people, I like to know where I stand with people. And if I know that the relationship is pretty much like done, a lot of times I would go to extra routes to like kill it, but by being a jerk in the process. So, of course, I do that. But yeah, that's the whole reason why I'm saying, just learn to accept people for who they are because I've had people that, of course, they would say they're there for you. They say they're going to do this, do that. And then when things go down, you find out really quick if they had your back or if they don't. And instead of trying to like constantly put your time and effort into trying to like drag somebody and bring them along, say like a childhood friend, you know, that you're on the road to success and you want them to come with you. If you're constantly having to like drag that person, you're going to get tired and they're going to drag you in their direction. So what I've kind of learned is, unfortunately for them, and fortunately for you, I say unfortunately for them because they won't know what could have been until it's too late at times, is that, you pretty much sometimes you try to take some people with you, you give them advice, and if it keeps falling on deaf ears, then you got to move on and try that out with somebody else, somebody who will heed your advice. Um, A lot of times you can look for people that have problems, in your field of expertise or things that you know that you're good at that you can help others with. Throw yourself out there and volunteer. Say, hey, I would love to, listen to you and hear your problems you got going on and, add value to them. And then just doing that, you'll end up adding value to yourself because you'll be learning more about yourself. And then also, in addition, you'll be growing yourself to deal with more difficult challenges in the future. Another reason why I say to kind of just accept people for who they are in this moment is, let's say on the opposite end, like if you just want to be left alone, you're content where you're at, and you're one of your friends who's successful keeps on telling you to come with them, come on, and you know you've tried telling that person politely that you're not interested. Sometimes it may just be best for you to leave that situation and just say, hey, listen, I'm content where I'm at. I understand that's what this endeavor that you're seeking is what you would like to do with your life, but based off my life right now where I'm at, I have no interest, and I'd appreciate it if you stop talking to me about this so we can maintain a relationship, to where it's not you just beating me over the side of the head with things. So that's another reason. And also, it's for your peace and sanity. My last job, I had the best of intentions. I sold day in and day night from like 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, be working on Saturdays and just logging in to take care of things, and then go on like 6-month appointments. And I had a bunch of people around me, that worked for me. They were fine with being average. And I'm not knocking anybody that wants to be average, but I just know it's not for me. And I personally refuse to accept it. So I would not accept less from them. And this caused this whole like power struggle where, as the leader, they were getting things done and we were getting things done, ahead of time. And the quality was good, but people were just so fed up with me because I was just forcing them to come along to my standard. And what ended up happening is one person complained about it, and then everybody wanted to join in on the bandwagon. And this guy, he basically stated a false claim saying that I was harassing and bullying him. In all reality, I was just trying to hold him to a standard. And so what I learned from that moment is though I had the best intentions and all that good stuff, in the end, not only did the people that I thought were close to me, that were my friends, good coworkers, not only did they actually join forces and had a problem with my high standard, but then my supervisors didn't even try to support me, right? So sometimes, not saying that you got to go with, but at times you need to go with the flow temporarily. And so what I end up having to do at the end, which was too late because the damage is already done as far as my reputation, I was able to prove that his claims were false. But despite that, it didn't. People are people. People are gullible. They believe anything that you throw out there. So even though I had facts that I did not bully this guy, I didn't harass this guy, I actually done the opposite. I actually went above and beyond to get him off of patrol so he could spend time with his wife because I knew he was coming up on a divorce, possibly. Going above and beyond, and you could just see that the person wasn't thankful for it because they took it for granted. And so at the end, at the last moment, what I decided to do is, just apply that high standard that I have for myself, just only to myself. And just like, listen, man, you know what? If y'all want to not do things of high quality, y'all want to kind of keep going back and forth on this task and this assignment, cool, whatever. I got all day. All I know is that The one thing I did not adjust was the deadline. The deadline. So if you're going to take that approach, just know that it's going to get, revised with a little bit more scrutiny, because I know that you aren't going to put the time and effort. And so because of that, what I do is I would give myself a buffer. So let's say if it was really due next week, or let's say today's on the 21st, let's say it was due the 28th, or I'm sorry, let's say it was due like the week after that, I would tell them that I want it by the 28th. And that would give me a week of buffer time to work on their product, since I knew it was going to be a half-assed product. Or product that, we want to be, nice terms, that they didn't care to put their time and effort into. So I knew I was going to have to put in more time and effort. And rather than fighting it, because my supervisors, of course, were just, they feel like your standards are too high, I just gave myself that buffer room. And by doing that, it gave me lots of sanity. But here's the one thing that I do know is that the proof is always in, what do you call that? Say, like reality and the facts will always come out. So, of course, lo and behold, what happens is I leave. And, of course, now they don't have me to blame for all these things that were going on. So now they have to assume them, responsibility for them themselves. And as time went on with the same people, it was clear to see that I was not the problem, that some of those other folks' problems, and in the end, ironically, even though like I was the most hated for a while, there were people that hit me up and were like, dude, we wish you were back, man, because we realized how much. Sorry, y'all, had somebody was calling me and stuff like that. Yeah, they realized how much of a great leader I was, because not because I'm anything special, but because of the time and effort I like to put in, and because I love, helping people and doing others, whereas a lot of other people are doing things for their own selfish reasons. So what ends up happening is they end up seeing that, by me leaving, that's where then there ended up being a big leadership gap, because now they no longer had someone that was proactive with a high standard, getting ahead of things, collaborating, networking, doing things that are in the background that I would always do, that they didn't realize were making their lives easier. And now with me gone, okay, cool. You got somebody who doesn't have a high standard, and so your life's not difficult. That's for you as the subordinate, the person that works for them. But life got really difficult for those leaders, because all of a sudden now they see that gap and they realize, hold on, things are not getting done the same way they used to be. So now they know exactly who the problem is, and they end up holding those people accountable. Some of them are no longer in the service, no longer have that job. And that's what happens sometimes, and some of these things, of course, you can't plan for everything, but some of these issues and things that happen, they were avoidable. Like if we would have just gone with the flow on certain things, where people would just be like, you know what, let's just go with what I'm saying, because I've been doing this for a long time and I got a lot of experience. But instead, they wanted to do things on their own, so I let them make their own home, and then I started doing that transition when I knew I was leaving, so that way they can kind of get a taste of what it was going to be like when I left. But because they didn't appreciate and value what I had to bring, they didn't realize it until it was too late, till I'm gone. And so now I'm in a new job where a lot of people where I'm at now, it's the opposite. They don't see, they don't understand how much value I bring to the table, and so they don't utilize me in ways that I would, preferred, that'd be ideal, which is cool. So instead of like doing like I normally would do, which I would fight against it, like, oh man, you got to raise your standard, come up to my level. Instead, I get about one little bits of feedback, and if they say thanks but no thanks, I move on. And instead of like fighting to like get more work to do that can add value, I just started putting more work into myself, to my personal self. I do some studying. I decided I would finish up my master's degree. I go teach financial courses because I'm a certified financial specialist. So I basically go and teach courses, just your basic financial principles. I teach folks how to budget, how to invest, how to save, teach them about credit, teach them about Federal Trading Commission, uh, different things like that for me to, like let them know that, how to invest and things like that. So, yeah, that's what I do. And I've enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm curious to hear from y'all if you had any experiences where you should have accepted somebody for who they really are in the moment, force or make them to be somebody that they obviously didn't want to be. But if not, that's all I got for today. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll upload this to my podcast. The link is in my description. You can listen to this later and just give yourself some food for thought. And God bless y'all.